Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast, where the blueprint to understanding a new and unified world is in our shifting consciousness.
Welcome, everyone, to the Blueprint Podcast. I'm Angela Blaha, and I have Renee Keenigan with me this week. Thank you, Renee, for being here. How are you today?
Wonderful. I appreciate so much the opportunity to visit with you and with your people.
Yeah.
It's a great privilege for me. Thank you.
Oh, you're so cool. Okay, so my message this morning was to talk about, are we ready for the shock and awe? So then I was like, okay, well, shock and awe, why do we have to have shock and awe? Right. And last week we talked about suffering and how, we're kind of done with suffering and, that whole mentality of it, the whole existence of it. And when I got that message today, it was like, what will it literally take for us to wake up to the fact that we are changing right before our eyes? Yet we don't acknowledge it. And worse, we don't accept it, because there's so much going on in our world that keeps trying to hold us back from evolution, from, the new paradigm, the new earth, the new universe. Like, there's so much that is strongholding and trying to hold the evolutionary process back. So acceptance, like literally acceptance, is the consent to receiving. And, it's literally the definition of suffering. Like, what we've been experiencing is literally the definition of suffering. And acceptance is the transformation of suffering. And are we open to receiving? Like, that is I think that's the biggest block in all of humanity.
And when you first said the whole shock and awe piece, I don't usually get emotional. That's not usually my first reaction. My first reaction is usually, but this was very emotional for me. And I think, actually, I know that piece that you're talking about, the receiving piece.
Mm-hmm.
For many of us, it takes a long time to be able to move within receiving, because many of us have been givers. So this whole idea of receiving becomes different, but that's where that's a piece of where the shock comes in.
Yes.
The shock of, I can receive.
Yeah.
Or I get to receive. And sometimes it's a statement someone makes or something you see or whatnot that shocks you into going, wow, what the heck? This is really cool. How do I get more of that? Mm-hmm. And then you get to look at that, and that's then in the roundabout way where the awe comes in. Because it's like, oh, wow. It really, your statement just touched me at a very deep level this morning.
There we are, shock and awe.
Shock and awe. As a society, there are a lot of people who are good at receiving. Mm-hmm. There are many, but there are even more that don't even know that they can receive. Mm-hmm. So how do we get there?
Well, so I've had lots of, clients this last week or within the last several weeks who are just feeling like they're exhausted. They don't really want to do any more work, like internal work. Like, they feel like they've done all the work that they can. Their life force, right, is diminished. And when your life force diminishes, like, you literally feel like you can't do anything else. And I think that for a lot of people that I know, that is the nth degree of suffering. That is where you have to have shock and awe in order for the transformation to come in, because just to say open to receiving, open your heart and all those kinds of things, like, okay, I can do that, but what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to open your heart and, to break the chains and do all that kind of stuff? But really, what does it feel like? What's the experience of it? And we can say those things, but I don't feel like it's very easy to do. Like, I've done it in the past, but there's something about having shock, like shock to your system or shock to your brain. Like, that's where all of my stuff comes in, because I'm very, kinetic. Like my brain is the thing. And for me, there has to be a shock in order for my brain to open up to something differently. Like, there has to be some sort of grand knowledge that comes in, or grand experience that comes in order for the whole instantaneous transformation. Let's put it that way, because it is instant. When you have shock and awe, there's instantaneousness, right? It pulls you right into the present moment. You cannot escape the present moment when you are in shock and awe.
That's true.
Yeah. And so I think that we are, like, so many, especially in the healing world or in the helping world, or in the coaching world, like where we reside, like there's so many of us that are like done. Like, we feel like we're done. We feel like we can't go any further. We feel like we are just exhausted. And when that life force goes out, how do you open up to receiving at that point without shock and awe? I think it's hard. I think it's hard to do.
And it's in this earth experience that we're in. What is it that draws us to something? It is that, you have your day-to-day, but until something actually shocks you emotionally, mentally, physically, any of those pieces, that's when you actually stop and appreciate the information and are wowed by it.
Yeah.
But so many of us aren't yet able to do that. How do we recognize that? How do we move into that? Like you said, you feel it, you get it here. I get it more in my heart space. That's where it hits me when somebody says something, or I read something, or I hear something. It goes there, and then it goes there. So we all have different processes in how we move into it. So part of it is figuring out what is your process.
Right.
How do you feel? How do you get there?
Yeah. Where does the shock and awe come from?
Yeah.
Like, where does it first penetrate your energy form?
Exactly.
Right. Is it in your emotions? Like, I know lots of people who are, it hits their emotions first, right? Like, it's their emotional body that leads them into evolution or into life. For me, it's literally the crown, the whole headspace, like that mentality, like the mentalness of it all. For other people, it is that heart space where it's like that. Sometimes it's considered intuitive centers. It's the way that you experience life. Sometimes it's spiritual, like that whole, but sometimes it's visceral, like the whole body just moves and shakes.
That's true.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, it comes in messages or metaphors, or, people come into your life and then they disappear and you never see them again. It's like these magical moments or these miracles that happen. Right. So for me, shock and awe is very miraculous. Like, it has this energy to it that is like beyond us, like beyond the human experience, beyond the earth kind of thing. Like, that's like like being able to make it rain in Peru, like that was very miraculous for me. Like
Yes.
it was shock and awe. It was like, dang, yes, I am powerful, but yet at the same time, it was like, whoa, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. But that moves you into understanding your potency, right? Like that really, when you can have those kinds of experiences, it moves you into potency, into your power, into your naturalness. I think that because this message came in today, I think we're going to start seeing that.
I want to add, it moves you into your awesomeness.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
it's not outside of you, it is you.
Right.
So there's all those pieces of like, wow,
Well, it moves you into your numinous self,
yes.
where you know that you have the same power or equal power to God, or to the universe or to Gaia, whatever words you want to use, but you're the holder
You
of the
hold
power.
it's within you, and you are so much more than you ever thought you were,
For sure.
or that you ever even dreamed you were.
Right. But without opening up and accepting yourself and receiving it, there is no shock and awe. And I think that that's a crucial component or a crucial state of where we are in our own evolution, is the acceptance and opening to receive that kind of potency. Because literally, we talk about the Blueprint podcast is all about moving into the new earth, being able to receive the new you, the new mentality, your new understanding of how you're the controller here. We're not living in a simulation, and that suffering is no longer the way that we want to live. I mean, that's really what the whole podcast is about. And now that we're at this stage in our evolution, I feel in every cell in my being that we are in for shock and awe. We are in for that, the potency of you knowing who your natural self is. Like,
And the discovery of your own divinity in
yes,
and of itself is shock and awe.
yes, yes.
So there is the receiving the information that I hold the divine within me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
not just the divine female or the divine male. It's like I hold the divine as one, that whole unified piece of the divine. I hold that within me.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I get to do with that? You created miracle in Peru. I mean, we all get to do that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's just recognizing it, receiving the information that, yes, that is within me.
Mm-hmm.
I hold that. And now where do I go with it? What more shock and awe can I create?
Right. It's almost unimaginable, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like a faraway off-world planet, but it actually can be our world here. And
Yes.
all we have to do is one simple thing, is open up to the acceptance of receiving. Like literally, that's the transformation component that I feel like we are experiencing right now but there's a lot of fear in that, right? Like I was afraid of how potent I could actually be for a really long time, because we have all this cell memory, past lives and all this kind of stuff, and all the things that we've done in past lives, but that's not who we are in this moment.
No.
Right? That's not who we are now. And we have to be able to lay that down, the old fears and the old ways of how we used to be, of our domination, control, manipulation, all that kind of thing. We have to be able to lay that down and literally not take it up anymore. When we can do that, we open up to what else is there? What else is, where does the power lie here? Well, it lies in each one of us. And each one of us has to be willing to open up, to literally open to the shock and awe of who we are.
And when you talk about the fear, there is a ton of fear. And I'm going to go to the simplest example that I can come up with about receiving would be if someone says, "Oh, you really look good today. You look just great today." And our tendency is to say, "Well, I can't say thank you, and I can't acknowledge that I do. I have to say, oh, no. I did this, oh, I got a zit here, or whatever it is." But those are the places that I began to be a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped that when somebody would say, "Oh, this is great," or whatever compliment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always shut them off because I didn't want to receive a compliment.
Right.
And now I know it's very simple to just say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And then you move into receivership.
Mm-hmm.
You're not making excuses. You're not living in fear of what will they think if I say, "Oh, yeah." It's
Right.
very simple to just say thank you.
Right.
No matter what it is, no matter if somebody opens the door for you when you're going, you could say, "Oh, no, I can get that." Or you can just say thank you and go through the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it takes some skills to develop as you move into that receivership. But wow, it's so wonderful. And there's really no fear around it. I had fear around it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so great to let it go.
Yeah.
To let
Well,
fear of what somebody else is going to think or say, or, it's like, no, thank you. Very simple.
right. I think that this is a transmission of the new codes for the new universe. Like, I feel like they're just like exuding
Yes.
through us today, right?
Yes.
So don't push them away,
Yes.
just don't push them away, but receive them. Yeah.
Say
And
thank you.
exactly. Say thank you. More, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it does take conscious work to
Mhm.
receive, right? And when you are in receiving mode, like I said earlier, you become in the present moment. There's no escaping the present moment. So if you're wondering how to be in the present, like, open yourself up to receiving, because when you're in receive mode, like, you can't escape it. And you're in the moment. You're like searching the body or searching the mind and searching the emotions, saying, "Oh, wait, what's going on here?" Because you can feel it. Like,
Mhm.
you can experience it. Like, there's so much power in receiving in the present moment. And then you're acknowledging it, right? So when we acknowledge something like that, like, it's instantaneous transformation.
And it's so much more than what I stated earlier. It's like when you take a walk. You're just taking a walk, either in the woods or down a road or whatever, and you're in the present moment when you can feel the breeze.
Yeah.
Or we can feel the sunset or the rain or whatever's falling on you, or when you just sense that this tree over here is communicating with you on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And it could just be with the breeze, but it's that being present. It isn't just about your relationship with other humans or other things. It's like being present in every moment and receiving whatever is offered to you, receiving that puppy dog that runs up to you, or receiving the vision you see in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the present moment. It keeps you right in the now.
Yeah.
And it's just receiving that instead of, going around like with the blinders.
Yes. On a trajectory, like,
Yes. Gotta go here.
Exactly. Yes.
Which
So,
is also new for us.
yeah, totally. Like, we don't have, it's not built into us to receive. Well, original code. Let's back up here.
Okay.
Original human code was all about receiving. We had nothing but receiving in our gene code,
Mhm.
in our DNA codes.
Mhm.
Because when you're creating a new human being, what do you have? You have receiving and receiving only.
Mhm.
So it is one of the original codes, but we've diminished it and hacked it up and got rid of it so much and programmed it out of our DNA so much, but moving into an evolutionary kind of state where we are right now with, Pluto coming in for the next 10, 20 years, and Pluto is all about evolution, and that's literally what it does. There will be shock and awe. Now, how do we want shock and awe to appear in our lives? That's really the question.
Yes.
Are we open to like ease and flow, or are we still in that mode of suffering where it brings war and conflict? So I want you to imagine, like literally, can we imagine how much your business or our businesses would grow if we actually opened up to receiving? Can you imagine how amazing your relationships would be, how deep that you would feel within them, how supported, how loved, how romanticized, like how whole you could feel if you opened up to receiving within the intimate relationships that you have now? Can you imagine how good your body would feel if we actually opened up to whole health, feeling well, if we opened up to receiving? Can we imagine how you would never want for anything in your whole entire life if we actually opened up to receiving? Because anything that we ever wanted would be instantly manifest. Like, can you feel the power, the potency of this original code being reactivated or opened up or deprogrammed within you right now as we're just speaking here? Like, there's some power here.
Yeah, there is.
This is what transformation is all about, like literally being able to experience it in a moment, just as someone speaks. Just as you're watching, you're like, if you're literally opening up yourself or reactivating your literal original code as a human, like, god dang, there's power right there.
And that sense of feeling that activation, once you understand how you feel that within your body, your physical body, it's like there's this deep craving.
It's like a drug.
It is like a drug. It's like, wow. And like you had said, for me, it's this, my whole body just goes, ooh, like it's there. And you can get it, just like you said, just listening, just participating, just, whatever. And when you know what that feels like for you, when you can sense that, know it, hold it, whatever, receive it, whatever terminology you want to use, it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
To experience it again, but to figure out that I'm trying to say, to figure out that you can create that for yourself. It doesn't have to come from anywhere else. You can create that sense for yourself just by receiving codes, energy. Everything is energy. But by frequency, it's like just by being in receivership of it. And it's great when you get that, those first few times that someone else assists you or helps you to activate something within yourself that you have the capability of doing. But if you don't know, it's helpful to listen to someone and to move into that energy.
Yeah. I think the thing about shock and awe is we relate it to something detrimental or something destructive or something that's, just going to harm us. But honestly, the numinous, which is you understanding your God self, is shock and awe. Because, and we can use it as more of a positive or even a neutral state, if that's where we're going, like a neutrality, like it's an opening. It's a understanding of real power, of real knowledge, of real wisdom, of the whole experience of this human life that we are that we are experiencing, right? Like there's shock and awe doesn't have to be detrimental, although we have so much fear about it. But understanding your own God self based on our old programming can be a bit detrimental for some. I'm
Yes.
not going to say that it's not, because there are, when you witness a miracle, there is like what happens. Like I really want you to. I want all of our listeners to like really go deep here and ask themselves what happens when you actually witness a miracle, or what we believe is a miracle, when it's really your own power, your own natural power. But what happens to you? Like, do you deny it? Do you push it away? Which is probably what most of us do.
Mhm.
Do we like say, oh no, that can't be true, that can't be true, right? Like, most conspiracy theories are pushed away. That can't be true. We could see that as shock and awe in our world, which 90% of them are probably true. But we push them away, we ignore them, we dismiss them, whatever it is that we do. But what happens to yourself when you witness miracles? There's a profoundness that happens. Like for me, it's like this deep, profound understanding, a level of experience or a level of wisdom that is so profound that it just deletes literally anything that I believed before.
You nailed it there. And just with the whole shock and awe piece, again, we have choice.
Mm-hmm.
We have choice in whatever that miracle might be, or theory, or whatever. We have choice to embrace it and say, wow, I never looked at it like that. That's accurate. I get it. Or we can go like with the boundaries up and the bars say, oh, no. So we really do have choice always. Am I going to be in the shock and awe of like, wow, cool, I feel that within every cell in my body, or like, oh well, nope.
Mm-hmm.
That whole and you can choose to go to the suffering aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go that's really cool experience. I'm going to go with like, oh, those poor people, or that, the suffering. That's a choice too. And we are a miracle in and of ourselves.
That we're still alive, yes.
Or that we're still here, yeah. But we really are a miraculous being.
Mm-hmm.
And so that shock and awe of just looking at ourselves alone, the complexities of us, the depth of us. So I have found great joy in going into the depth and the complexity. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it doesn't mean it's like I'm not saying uber easy. The shock and awe there can be a little bit of that, whoa. And I can run from it, or I can go deeper into it and find out, oh, this is why. That is okay. Pieces are coming together here.
Mm-hmm.
The shock of it gets me here. The awe of it is like, wow, did that unfold in a really cool way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I see the miracle in what happened here.
Even in detriment, like the worst things that could possibly happen to us, on the other side of that, there is always, I've had lots of traumatic experiences in my life, but on the other side of that, if I'm actually aligning with my soul self, there is such deep learning, I want to say, or deeper conscious awareness, or deeper, I don't even know how to explain it, deeper bliss, because there's something that awakens in you. There's something that like literally comes to life inside of you that says, wow, okay, I can see it this way, and this is my experience, and this is what I'm taking away. And this is who I get to create now. No matter what the trauma was, no matter what my trauma's been. And I'm going to leave the trauma because I don't want to carry that with me. Right. So I'm going to open up into this because this is receiving who I am. The more powerful, the more, the more understood, the more, the more, I don't know.
Authentic, genuine.
Yeah. Authentic. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Authentic is definitely the word.
It is. It's discovering that authentic self.
Yeah. Which is self-actualization, right? Like that's the whole component.
Yes, it is.
We did a roundabout here.
We did, yeah, with shock and awe.
With shock and awe.
I
Yeah.
love it. I do.
Yeah. So what happened when you said, at the beginning, when I said shock and awe, and you said that there was a deeper emotional experience, like what happened within yourself just by hearing that? Are we ready for the shock and awe?
What came in instantly was this overwhelming, and it's not overwhelming I don't want to use that word. It's like my whole body resonated with it in that I could feel it everywhere. It was like my body, like my whole soul, my whole self, everything was saying, I embrace the shock and awe. I'm ready to receive the shock and awe or create the shock and awe. Or it's not even it goes back to I embrace it. And that's what my whole physical being, it embraced it. And it's a spiritual level. It's just a human beingness level. It's an emotional level. It's a mental level. It just really, I don't know, it rang so true to me that it actually brought tears to my eyes. And that isn't always my experience. So that's why I said it kind of rocked me to the depth of me. Not that there was fear in it,
Right.
but that the opportunity to participate in it is so wonderful. And the opportunity to look at, I keep hearing to share this story. So my brother passed away a year ago, very shockingly. It was a shock. Some people chose to live in that shock and the sorrow and the whatever. I did not. I could see the awesomeness that was my brother. I received all the gifts that he brought to my life. Things can be as simple as that. It's like there are shocks that come into our life. And what do we do with them? I looked at all the pieces of like, wow, these were the experiences we had. This is the awesomeness that you have been for me. This is who you are. And it was complete love. And I just have been hearing that this whole conversation. It's like people need to be able to see that there are shocking things that come into our lives that we can go down the, why us, why, who, sorrow, or we can choose to say, what did I receive by having a relationship with this person? Oh, wow, there's the awesomeness. Unconditional love is what I received from my brother. Unconditional.
Yeah.
All the time. Even when he called me a bitch. Was unconditional. I was probably being one, but it's just like, it was always unconditional love. Well, what's more awesome than that?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's that depth that I'm talking about.
Yeah, like the depth of the gifts. I think that when you said that, the gifts that I received from the relationship that you had, like, I think that that's going to be our shock and awe, is our gifts. because we're not like used to having gifts. We're not used to knowing the power that resides within us, the whole power of a relationship, right? Like the unconditional love that you can receive if you're lucky enough to have that in
Yes.
your life. Like that is like, there's real power in that gift. And I think that that's going to be our shock and awe, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I think we're looking for detriment. I think that we're looking, as a world, we're looking for destruction. We're looking for all of those kinds of things. But I feel like the shock and awe that we're about to open up to with our process here, with our ascension process here, is going to be our gifts, talents, and abilities.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be probably more shocking to most than anything destructive, because we've already done all the destruction that we could possibly do as a human being. All of it. We've done it all.
Yep.
But we've not experienced, humanity has not experienced it, and except for the original codes that we came in with, we have not experienced our gifts, talents, and abilities, which again is what self-actualizing is, right? And when we can move into that level of profound conscious awareness, like, we will be shocked.
When you get to dive in deep and see what your divine blueprint actually looks like, and the potential within it.
Yeah.
Now that's shock and awe.
Yes.
It's just, oh, wow. I've always kind of felt this, but when you actually get to see that, it's like,
yeah,
it's so cool. And everybody has this.
Yeah.
Everybody has a blueprint. When you can focus on that new divine blueprint and leave that old one from the day before behind.
Exactly.
And not taking you with me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's profound.
Yes. Yeah.
And we all have that. We all get to do that. But
we do.
Move, but a big piece of it is moving into the receivership of it. I will receive this.
Exactly. And I think that's where that pivoting point, the shock and awe of it, is you're either going to open up to it or you're going to close the door of it. And if we close the door of it, well, I don't know what happens to those people, because I'm not going that track.
Not now.
No, I'm not sure what's going to happen to you if you close the door. So you're on your own. There's somebody out there. I'm
close
sure.
it, and you get another opportunity, but I don't know that.
Yeah,
I closed enough doors in my life. I'm not closing them anymore. They're all open.
I'm open to everything now. Yeah. I do know the path forward, though, the evolutionary path into, self-actualization, higher states of consciousness, the new world kind of mentality. I do know that path because that's what I'm opening to. And so I think that is, we're all going to come to that, I feel, within the next 3 months. Do you feel that?
I feel every day that it's speeding up. If that makes any sense. It's like every day it's like, oh, here we go. We are really moving into some.
Yeah, it's moving very quickly. But are we ready for the shock and awe? Because I think I think it's a valid point that, the clear consciousness brought into me today.
Yes.
Get them ready. Get them freaking ready, because we are moving into this state of our true essence. For lack of better words, I don't even know what to call it, but there is, like, we can feel it now. Like, we can, like, literally, you can probably feel it within your body if you're listening to this episode of the Blueprint podcast, because I think that it's being activated in each one of us right now.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. For sure. I know. Well, with that, we're going to leave it right there. Just like as we float around the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess I would encourage listeners to play with this, play
Yeah.
with this energy.
Mhm.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Let yourself be shocked
Yeah.
and move into the awe of your natural, very potent, very powerful self, numinous self, right? Like this is who we are becoming, these beings of, it's not light, it's not love, it's beings of potency, beings of naturalness, beings of authentic,
Yep.
moving and activating original DNA code of humanity, because it is our birthright to live this way.
Most definitely. Woohoo, what a ride, right?
Exactly. Shit, yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks, Renee, so much for being here and exploring this energy with us. So
Thank
I want
you.
to thank all the listeners too. And let's spread this vibrational frequency. Like, let's spread this code throughout all of the world, all of the world, because we all deserve to be activated into this power, into this level of awareness. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being with us today. To find out more about Angela, visit her website at www.angelablaha.com.